Welcome back. We're going to read chapter 7 in the book Julius Again. Chapter 7 is called Julius Helps with the Wedding. When Mitch opened his eyes the next morning, he had a feeling of dread. At first, he thought it was Mom's engagement. Then he remembered Julius had been loose all night. The only time Julius had been loose before, he'd wrecked Mom's walnut table and a lampshade. Mitch jumped out of bed and headed through his bedroom door. Hallelujah, Julius is mine. The song came from his bedroom. He turned around and found Julius blinking sleepily from his perch in his cage. Maybe he had just dreamed about Julius coming to him. But the open cage door told the story. Mitch ran through the house looking for damage but found none. He strolled back to his room feeling happy. Julius seemed to be getting quite civilized. Mom went out with Mr. Dewey several times a week, and they always shared Sabbath lunch. Then suddenly, Mom and Graham were busy making preparations for the wedding. It's going to be simple, Mom said. You, Graham, Dan, and I will make up the wedding party, and we've invited only a few of our closest friends and relatives. Mom and Graham decided to make the flowers from silk. It'll be a lot cheaper, Mom said, and we'll have them to help us remember the happy day. One evening, Mitch came in from taking Julius on a walk to find Mom looking around the living room. What's up? He asked. Mom turned to him. Remember the pink flowers we finished last night? I'm sure we left them on the tray. We always do until the glue dries. She pointed to the empty tray. You can see they're not there. Mitch's first thought was Julius, but Julius had been with him almost all the time since he'd come home from school. He didn't say a word, but marched right to his bedroom with Julius perched on his shoulder. When he closed the door, he held up his arm and Julius hopped on. Okay, Julius, Mitch said, I know it's not fair to blame you for it, but did you? Julius stood tall, looking Mitch in the eye. He shook his feathers and gave his wings an experimental flap. Heavenly sunshine, he sang in Mitch's voice. Hallelujah, Julius is mine. Mitch couldn't help laughing. So you think that settles it, huh? He asked his pet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Julius yelled. Mitch looked around his room. No pink flowers. He moved into the living room and looked everywhere he could think of. No flowers. Then a pile of green feathers with a flash of blue passed Mitch's head. Mitch quietly followed his pet. Julius landed on the carpet beside the coat closet in the entryway. He laid his red head flat on the carpet, trying to look under the closet door. Then his left foot snaked under the door. Julius was definitely trying to reach something. Mitch opened the door. There, Mom's missing pink flowers lay on the floor just out of Julius's reach. Mitch also picked up a teaspoon and 2 red checkers. I should have looked there the first thing, Mom said. I'm sure we'll both remember after this. How many trips do you think Julius made to shove the flowers under the door? 50? About a week later, someone left a wedding present on the entryway table. As Mitch hurried to school, he noticed how festive the silver paper and ribbons looked. He wished he felt that happy about the wedding. Later that night, Mom and Mr. Dewey called him into the living room. They both wore strange looks. What did I do now? Mitch asked, or was it Julius? I'm not sure, Mom said, but one of you has been getting into things again. She took Mitch to the entryway and pointed at the package. Mitch took a deep breath. Julius couldn't have done that. Not even Julius. The wedding paper and ribbons had been removed, neatly removed, so neatly that they should be lying on the table all folded up, but they weren't. Just the white box sat on the table now. It took Mitch about 5 seconds to make a dive for the closet door. Sure enough, 16 million tiny pieces of silver paper littered the floor. Mitch didn't see any sign of the ribbon, but it was around someplace. You aren't mad about that, are you? He asked. Not after all the really bad things he's done. Mr. Dewey laughed. We're not mad, Mitch. He's a pretty smart bird. Finally, the day came for the wedding. A Sabbath day. Mom seemed nervous and jittery. Graham seemed super excited. Mitch didn't know how to feel. Mom and Graham had gone to the church Friday afternoon to decorate it so the church members could enjoy the flowers too. At 7 o'clock Saturday evening, Mom and Mitch and Graham went to the church together. Mitch met Mr. Dewey and the pastor in the pastor's study. When the organist started playing softly, Mitch followed Mr. Dewey onto the platform with the minister. Then Graham and Mom came down the aisle and onto the platform beside the men. Then, almost before it began, the wedding ended. Mom was married. Her name wasn't Sinclair anymore. Mitch felt strange and alone. Only about a dozen guests attended the simple wedding. They went back to Mitch and Mom's house afterward for a buffet supper. "May I let Julius out?" Mitch asked Mom when they got home. When she shook her head, Mitch noticed a million stars in her eyes. She was really that happy. He went back to the bedroom to stay with Julius and think about Mom. How could he feel bad when she looked as if she'd swallowed all the candy in the world? "Have you got things under control, God?" he asked out loud. A feeling of peace passed over him. He wished it would last. Mr. Dewey took time to talk to Mitch that night after everyone left. He told Mitch that they would move to the farm tomorrow and put this place up for sale if that was all right with Mitch. Mitch couldn't believe the man was asking him. Really, he knew he'd love the farm. "What about Julius?" he asked. "Your room there is bigger than this one," the man said. "Seems to me Julius will be happier. He'll have a bigger house to roam in and lots more space outside." He got to his feet. "My top priority is to make you and Faye happy," he said. Then he grinned. "Next on the list is Julius. He has to be happy too." The next day, Graham, Mom, Cassie's mother and dad, Mr. Dewey, and Mitch packed like crazy. About the middle of the afternoon, Mr. Dewey brought a U-Haul truck and the group loaded it quickly. Everyone seemed so happy that they had lots of energy. Mitch tried to feel happy too. By evening, the old house looked empty, and Mr. Dewey's house looked like a big mess. Where would they ever put all the stuff? Finally, Mitch put Julius into the big cage in his much bigger bedroom. He noticed the bright pink yarn pieces still hung from the top of the cage. Maybe some things hadn't changed. "This may just turn out all right," he told his pet while he wired the door shut. "If you'll like it here, I will too." And that's the end of chapter 7.